So that signal is this one. So you probably have seen this many times. The shaft no longer has to point downwards. So that would have been this signal. If you wanted to, you could do a tennis serve. You can technically move your foot as you're going backwards, but as soon as you then stop going backwards and you go forwards, your feet have to stay still essentially.
Hi everyone, this is another video and today I am with Dr. David Evans and he is actually the youngest BWF-certified umpire. So we're going to ask him a few questions. Assuming you're a service judge now, show us some of the most common faults that you seem to come across.
So probably the biggest one, and probably what most people have seen, is a service being too high. So that signal is this one. So you probably have seen this many times. So that means when the whole of the shuttle is hit above 1.15 meters. So that's the new rule.
Whole shuttle, not the
whole
cork.
shuttle, the whole shuttle. So at point of contact, the whole shuttle has to be below 1.15 meters.
Okay. And
before, that used to be the waist.
which was defined as the lowest rib.
Yes.
But my rib and Jesper Toft's rib is very different.
My rib, completely different, completely different. So I think that's why BWF have decided to change it to the 1.15 to try and keep it a bit more even between all players, and I think it's gone down quite well. A lot of players are now not complaining about other people's serves, things like that, which was happening a lot, especially in the doubles.
Okay. Remember to protect your precious badminton rackets from chips and scratches with the premium racket protection tape with free delivery worldwide on ckyw.com/shop. Obviously, I want to say a huge thank you to David and to Badminton Wales for arranging all these and making it possible for me to film on these courts. Go check out their website for all things badminton in Wales, and I'll leave their website link in the description too.
Do you still need to point your rackets downwards?
So no, so because of the new rule, quite a few years ago, the shaft no longer has to point downwards. So that would have been this signal. But now, if you wanted to, you could do a tennis serve and hit the shuttle way above you, as long as it's below 1.15 meters.
As long as it's below 1.15?
Yes.
Okay. So you showed me another one that was unique that I've not really seen before.
Yeah, so this is one that was put into place quite a few years ago, where some players were like hitting the feathers and slicing the shuttle, which is almost quite similar to then the spin serve lately in the last few years. But then that signal would be like this.
Okay.
So that's basically showing that you have to hit the cork of the shuttle first before the feathers.
Have you used it before?
I have never used that.
Okay.
I've never called that. I've seen it a couple of times, but no, never used that myself.
So what would be the next fault that you would come across?
The next common ones would be maybe a foot fault. So then that signal would be this.
So touching your foot?
So yep. So the signal would be touching your foot, and that would show you either your foot has been touching a line, or during your serve, a part of each foot has to be in stationary contact with the floor. So that literally means you can't drag a foot. You can pivot, so that's okay, because technically there is one part of your foot still in place.
Okay.
But you cannot drag it, and that's during the serve. So another technicality is that the serve starts on completion of the backwards movement. So you can technically move your foot as you're going backwards, but as soon as you then stop going backwards and you go forwards, your feet have to stay still essentially, or part of each foot has to stay still.
I now suddenly feel a lot of people would have faulted
ones
that I normally play with.
It could be tiny, but
okay.
Technically.
And then so you've touched about moving rackets backwards. What fault was that?
So then that is also another fault, is that you have to, on completion of the backwards movement, there cannot be any delay in going forward.
Okay.
So that would be shown in terms of a signal like this, which would show that there's a delay in the movement. So as soon as you go backwards, you have to go forwards immediately.
So you can't stop?
You can't like go back, stop, and then forward. As soon as you hit as far as back as you're going to go, you have to go forward.
Okay.
That's quite similar then also to the forward motion. It has to be in one motion as well. So it's sort of a similar signal, but when it's going forward, it has to be in one continuous motion. You can't stop and then keep going.
Okay, cool. Any more that us fans need to know?
Those are the majority. Obviously then there's the basic ones of serving diagonally. The shuttle should also travel upwards over the net, but if you're hitting below 1.15, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case.
Okay, it's going to go into net. Net is 152,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Okay, so in terms of the serve going backwards and then moving forward, service judges call that, right? Not the umpire.
Yeah. So the umpire can call a delay. So the serve cannot be delayed as well. So that can happen, say, before a movement has been made. So if a player takes too long to serve, that can also be called as a fault, but that would be under the umpire's responsibility.
What about foot faults? Is
Foot
that also
faults?
umpires?
So technically the umpire can also call all of the faults. Obviously it's not going to be good if an umpire calls 1.15 without being able to measure.
Yeah.
But yeah, if a player is touching a line, the umpire is also able to call that.
Okay. Let's go take a closer look at the service judge apparatus. Is what it's called?
Let's go and take a look.
Okay.
So here, as you can see, we have two perspex pieces aligned with a line on each, one of each different color. So we have a blue line and a black line to make it easier to differentiate the two lines. Now these are both set at 1.15 meters. We also have a spirit level device here to show that the device is level. And also we have 4 adjustable feet, so we can alter the device depending on the flooring, and obviously every hole is different, so we can balance the device the way it should be.
And then so, in very simple terms, both lines need to match up to what you see online?
Exactly. So we'll sit in the chair, line both lines up, so then effectively we cannot see the second line. And then that's when we know that we're lined up ourselves to 1.15 meters.
Okay.
And therefore we can then judge what it's like on the court with 1.15 meters and the whole shuttle being below the 1.15.
So David, you told us that the whole shuttle needs to be below both lines?
Yes.
How?
Effectively when you're holding the shuttle, you can see that when you line up the lines, that at point of contact, the whole shuttle has to be below the 1.15.
At point of contact, the shuttle needs to be below 1.15. Wow. So that's quite hard.
Yeah. Well, for me, that's quite a bit better than the old law of using my lowest rib. So you can see the difference of where my lowest rib would be. So that's quite a big a difference for me. It's a positive difference.
So now we're going to do a little test where I'm going to sit and look through these two lines, and then you're going to raise your hand.
Raise my
and
finger.
I will tell you when I think it's a fault.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So that's quite a good test to see if the device is working correctly.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
So, you ready?
Yep.
Cool. Just say when.
Yep. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Almost. Keep going. Fault.
Yeah. Perfect.
Is there a red line?
Yeah, that's the red line. So with the whole shuttle has to be below that line. You're calling it correct?
So, okay. So that's a fault.
Yeah.
Whole shuttle has to be below that.
Yep. Yep.
I like
Perfect.
that. It's consistent. It's good.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
When you're in that chair and you have half a second to decide and the whole world is watching you, it's pretty tough.